Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. I am Tanner Knight, and today we have something to talk about. My wife came to me the other day and she said, hey, check out this podcasting setup by one of her favorite podcasters, Emma Chamberlain. And if you don't know who Emma Chamberlain is, she's a YouTuber turned podcaster who's kind of the new face of youth, I would say, for a lot of people. So she's a very popular young lady and she makes all kinds of different content. And she had a video recently where she was kind of showcasing, she wasn't talking about her gear particularly, but it was in a video. So we decided, let's go ahead and try to replicate what Emma Chamberlain does in her home recording setup. So just for your reference, this was the picture that I was given from my wife, Gabby, to work on. I mean, this is it. No brand, nothing. So we're going to go ahead and take a stab at it. Almost. We got a Zoom H6 handy recorder. And like I said, this is not the exact piece of kit that Emma is using, but it looks pretty close. And I assume that the functionality is going to be pretty similar as well. So if you have any idea what this actual piece of equipment that she is using is, I could not find it. I looked on the internet all over the place and looked at Tascam units, I think Samson units, Roland. I couldn't find it. So if you know what this is, let me know. But in the meantime, let's play with this Zoom H6 handy recorder. So what's in the box? We get our paperwork. Looks like it's in a few different languages. And then we have two items in black bags. We've got some batteries here, so let's go ahead and take those out. And let's take a look at this guy first, since it's the smallest. This is the capsule microphone that comes with this H6 recorder. And you may be asking, what is a capsule recorder? Well, it's a plug-in that is, I think it's proprietary to Zoom. You can see right here, it has a plug interface that plugs on the top of it, and it has two unidirectional microphones which provide a stereo recording effect. Just if you want to use this, you can plug it in and it's one singular unit. So that's kind of cool. It's got a gain dial here, 0 to 10. Let's just put it on 0 just for safety. And you can see that we've got some tabs here that release these clips. So there you go. We'll listen to that in a second, but let's go ahead and see the main event here. All right, the Zoom H6 handy recorder. And you can see a nice LCD screen here that has some information. And talking about that capsule microphone, this is where it plugs in. So other than that, we have 4 XLR/balanced 1/4 inch inputs. And what that means is you can get an XLR cable and not simultaneously, or I should say, a 1/4 inch balanced instrument cable in here as well if you want to go direct in with a guitar. I don't know. I don't recommend that. I don't think they recommend that, but you have the option to use that as the interface for the cable. So basically 4 channels plus the 2 stereo capsule mics on top. You have 6 channels total, and we have 4 gain dials here for each of these channels on the side, and you can see LR, which is the left and right of the capsule microphone, and then 1 through 4 for each of these channels. Pretty standard stop, reverse, forward, play, pause, and record controls. Nothing out of the norm there. But the LCD screen is a really nice addition because you can really see the gain levels and some other information right on screen. On the side, we have a spot for an SD card. I believe this is our headphone 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter jack. I think we have volume up and down here, and our standard power and hold button. All of this is pretty standard for the Zoom units. I've had a few different of the handheld Zoom handy recorders, and they all kind of have that same layout. Let's take a look at this side real quick. We just have a micro USB. You don't see those too often anymore. That's kind of an antiquated input, so I'm not sure why they chose to go with that, but I guess that's one way to give this power without batteries. Menu, and then a kind of toggle switch on the side. Other than that, we have a battery compartment and a mount to mount this to some sort of tripod or something like that. So pretty cool. I'm not crazy about the speckled look. I don't know if it's coming through. It's like speckled plastic, and it doesn't feel as substantial as like brushed aluminum or, you know, an Apple product or something like that. But it still feels okay. Let's go ahead and put the batteries in it and add the capsule microphone and see what it feels like then. This does take 4 full AA batteries, so be aware that if you lose these batteries, you need to have 4. So let's go ahead and put the compartment back on and add the microphone. We have a little safety here. Remove that. Same thing on this. Go ahead and remove that. And they affix to one another like so. And it kind of helps to press this button on either side to get those clips out of the way, and then it's pretty firmly attached. I cannot pull it off. There's a little bit of rock side to side. You can see there's some play, but it's not the end of the world. Our volume button or gain button here feels pretty nice and sturdy. And oh, I forgot to mention, we do have a pad option, which is basically a -20 dB switch for each channel as well. So if you want to take a little bit of the edge off of one of your channels, you can do that very easily just with a little switch. All right, this thing feels pretty good right now. Let's go ahead and see what kind of sounds it will record. All right, so here we are with the Zoom H6 handy recorder, and you can see that I have a set of headphones plugged in as well. I kind of want to hear what the sound sounds like through this preamp, because what it's going to do is it's going to, first of all, we're going to do a couple different tests. We're going to test this set of microphones here, the capsule microphone, and you can tell I put a little wind guard on there just for safety's sake. And then we're going to try out some of these inputs on the side and see what those sound like as compared to the capsule microphone, and then kind of do it all together and just see what we capture. So again, we are just doing capsule microphone, and I'm going to go ahead and put these headphones on now. Up until this point, I have been recording sound, recording my audio using my Sennheiser AVX Wireless microphone system, and this is the transceiver, and this is being plugged right into the camera right now. So all preamping is done on the camera, and this microphone is responsible for capturing and transmitting the sound to the camera. So we're going to switch once I can turn this thing on. So we have batteries in here. So in order to turn it on, you just press the switch all the way to the side and release it, and then you'll see the handy dandy LCD, and I can automatically hear myself because of the setup. So let me turn this all the way down to 0. I guess I had it on 10 rather than 0. So right now I can't hear anything. It's at 0, but I can confirm that sound was coming through. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn up the volume slightly. And by the way, we're going to switch from the AVX microphone to the Zoom H6 in 3, 2, 1. We were at 0 on the gain, so you didn't hear any of that until just now. But I'm going to slowly wind the dial up until we get almost to the top. Maybe let's go all the way. That's number 10. That's pretty freaking loud. So I'm going to back it down. I think the sweet spot for the capsule microphone is right around 7.5, 7.5, 75% of that dial. And in this way, you can hold the microphone pretty close to your mouth, but not having to swallow it. I think that's a bit much right there, but you can hold it right about here, and it sounds pretty good. So that's 7.5 on the gain scale. And the other thing that I wanted to try in this kind of format is how many sounds we get just from holding it or moving the microphone. And you can hear that there's quite a bit of rubbing and tapping and just garbage in the sound that we probably wouldn't want if we were going to be recording voice. So I would recommend, if you're going to hold this, probably hold it from the bottom, have a finger or two at the bottom, and be as stationary as you can be, because you can hear all of that. It's not the end of the world, but you can hear it all, and I typically prefer to have no extra sounds that might need to be edited or dealt with in a different way in editing. So pretty good sound, 7.5 on the dial. We do have the L and R engaged, that's left and right, and I can't change it while it's recording, so you'll just have to take my word for it, but you only have the option of a stereo pair with the capsule microphone. You cannot select L or R. It has to be both engaged at the same time or neither. And I think that's fine because this microphone is just meant to be stationed on the top of this thing and give you kind of a nice little stereo effect. It's not hugely stereo by any means, but it does the trick. So just a little word of advice there. So capsule microphone, think it sounds great. Let's go ahead and plug something in and see what that sounds like. All right, so here we are with a kind of new setup. I have disengaged the capsule microphone. You can see the L and the R. They are not making any sound with that microphone. It's disengaged. But I do have number one engaged, which is my Sennheiser AVX receiver. And that is capturing the sound from my transceiver, which is right here. So I had this exact setup being plugged into my camera previously, and now I just plugged it right into the H6 recorder, and it works great. I think that I can hear what I'm saying, and I don't have to worry about having this thing in proximity to me anymore. And in fact, I could put it across the room and still rock with this setup. This is, again, more expensive than most people want to put into a simple podcast setting. So maybe this is a bit overkill, but I just wanted to check to see what it would do if I plug this thing in here, and it does a great job. So I got the gain on this one right around 3, 2.5, 3. This is a hot mic, and I think it has something to do with the amount of juice that the transceiver is flowing across the airwaves here. So this one has to be a little quieter. And let's just try that pad option. Pad, test 1, 2. I had to bump it up to 5 with the pad engaged. So that's what that does. Just cuts 20 dB out of the signal. So by the way, you can see our little LCD does have a nice volume indicator that lets you know when you're peaking, when you're not being picked up at all, and what channel is producing sound. And you can see this is channel 1. It's doing just what you would expect. So there you go, AVX. Let's go ahead and hear something a bit more conventional. Test, 1, 2, 3. All right, here we are with a new microphone. A microphone that is in no way or shape new. This is actually one of my older Shure SM58s. This is one of my parents' microphones, so probably from the 90s. But I have this microphone plugged via XLR cable directly into channel 3 on our handy recorder. And with this microphone, I can hear a lot of the cable movement. And I don't know if that's just this specific cable or if it's the whole shebang, but in any event, if this is going to be your setup, it sounds really good. I can tell that it sounds good just by the playback, but having all of that cable noise in there is, always a pain. So just be very still if you're going to do this, and I would recommend keeping the handy recorder maybe on a table that's not even next to you, and then all you have to worry about is not touching your cable. So that's one way to do this in kind of an inexpensive way, more conventional. You need the SM58, which is anywhere between $75 and $100, an XLR cable, which you can pick up for $10, and you have a mobile but professional option. And of course, the SM58 is not your only microphone option. Shure makes a lot of different other microphones. Sennheiser makes a lot of great microphones for around $100. You can get a vintage PV microphone for about $30 on Reverb today, and those things are actually pretty rock solid as well. So you don't have to break the bank with the microphone to get a really good professional sound with this Zoom recorder. Is this a higher quality audio than the capsule microphone? I think it is. I think that you do gain a bit of quality when you have a dedicated microphone. And this is a dynamic microphone, not a condenser microphone. So we do not have any phantom power or any necessity for phantom power right now. So that's what we got for the SM58. Really nice option. Just be aware that you have a cable that can contribute to some noise, and you generally don't want that. All right, so we're back on the capsule microphone for a hot second, and I wanted to show you one thing about engaging for condenser microphone, which we have right here. This is an Technica AT4033SE microphone, and it's a lot pricier than the SM58 we just had plugged in. So this is kind of a higher end option if you want to go with a condenser microphone. And you don't have to spend $400 on a condenser microphone, but you know, that's a really nice microphone. I like it a lot. And I just wanted to hear what it sounded like with this setup. So to do so, we have to engage the phantom power. So in order to do this, I actually have to stop recording. So we're just going to go with the crappy camera audio in the room for a hot second. But here we go. Record, stop. Okay, so now I hit the menu and that takes me to our menu option. And we have our toggle on the side to go up and down. And I want to go down to settings, which the very first option, if you click down, is the setting where the phantom power is. So we're going to go ahead and click on that one and go down to phantom and click on that one and click on it again to turn it on. I'm currently plugged into track 2, so I'm going to toggle down to track 2, hit enter, and on. And to get out of here, you just hit menu, 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 and it will eventually take you back. So, disengaging left and right capsule microphone. Engaging channel 2. Test. Woo, baby. So here we are with our condenser microphone, our Technica AT4033SE, and I'm about, I don't know, 2.5 feet away. I have the gain at 5.5. I'm gonna bump it to 6, just live dangerously. And right here, I can hear the full body of my voice. The one issue that I might take with it is, of course, the little bit of room echo that you can hear by being in a room with 4 walls. So that's kind of something I can't avoid. I don't have a completely dead audio space just yet, but you know, it does a pretty good job of capturing the full body of the voice without making it sound too bassy or too trebly, you name it. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong in an audio space. So condenser microphone, this is running off of 48 volt phantom power, and that's a lot of juice. 48 volts. You can really get a lot more out of a condenser microphone like this than the SM58. That's much more of an intimate handheld type situation, whereas this is, you know, you can crank up the gain to 10. I probably don't want to do that, but even if you go up to 7 and lean back, you can hear the room, and it's peaking at 7. So this is a very powerful mic. I'm just going to engage that pad for this one and run it up to about 8 or 9. I like that. I think that's a pretty good representation with that cut in there. Kind of cool. So we're on channel 2 of this microphone, and all other channels do not have phantom power engaged. So you can have this microphone, you can have this microphone, you can have a dynamic microphone or the Sennheiser AVX microphone all plugged in simultaneously and capturing sound. Pretty cool. I think that for my application, this setup is, I don't know, a little overkill. There's no need to have a microphone like this plugged into this recorder in most cases, but hey, we're here to do it. The one thing that I did want to bring up that they mentioned on the website is the kind of studio capabilities of this thing. They tout the ability to be able to record like a bass in one track, mic up a guitar cab, mic up your drums, and then have your vocals in the other 4th input, and then even engage the room microphone and capture all 5 or 6 of those tracks. I don't know how they cut up the stereo, but that would theoretically be 5 different microphones operating at once. And I think that might be above the pay grade of this thing. I don't know if the preamp can handle that kind of input all at once. We're going to try it at one point, but that's a little beyond the scope of this video. I just wanted to reference that, and that they do say that you can do that with this product. We'll see. But in the meantime, I think that this is a really versatile product for a lot of different people and a lot of different applications. I could really see a journalist finding this very easy to put in a bag or a purse or whatever and pull out, put in the table for an interview, and boom, you've got flawless audio every time. I could also see podcasters really getting behind this with the addition of the microphone jacks. You can have a podcast with 4 separate people talking at once and cut their audio if you want. So that's kind of cool. Podcasters, videographers for YouTube, you could definitely get better quality audio than what's in that camera microphone right now. And just to show you what I mean, this is without the Zoom microphone. This is just the camera audio, and this is the good audio. So there you go. We want to have the best audio possible, and there's a lot of different people who talk for a living or for fun, and at $350, I believe is the MSRP of this, it's really a good buy. I think you get a lot of value here, a good product. Again, a little plasticky, but I think that's mostly to keep down on the weight, because it could get kind of heavy if you got a bunch of things in here. And just having the headphones in there alone is more than I would want in there. I think that I would probably prefer just to trust the levels on here than have the headphones on. But for this purpose, I wanted to hear what it sounded like while it was happening. But I'll also have to analyze what my voice sounds like in the editing process, and I'll have a follow-up further down the road. But if you do have any questions about this or any other application for the H6 handy recorder, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can put a video together and demo or do whatever you want to see here. So go ahead and leave a comment, like and subscribe if you like this type of content. That always helps. And if you haven't checked out the Mindful Luna podcast, I highly suggest you go do that right now. Go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, wherever podcasts are given to you for free. Go and listen to the Mindful Luna, and I assure you will enjoy it. The primary goal of the Mindful Luna is meditation, and everybody can use a little bit of meditation in these crazy times, so go at it. All right, so I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.